What? The food? What? I mean, this is an area of history that's just like so deep.
And over the baguette.
Themes of empire, mission, inheritance, and destiny. Hello and welcome back to What the Food. This is a podcast that aims to uncover the fascinating origin stories behind dishes from all around the world, both popular and
obscure.
My name is Miles Dickinson, and as always, I'm here with Andy Cantor.
Yep, I'm here, as always, as you said.
As always. And it's our mission to sort of delve into history and uncover the fascinating origin stories behind foods that we eat. What is today's episode, Andy? I mean, people already know because they've clicked on it, but do the honours.
Yeah, so today we're going Dutch, Milo, and we are looking at the origins of Stamppot.
Stamppot. Hot, steamy Stamppot.
Hot, steamy piles of stammy Stamppot. Now, this is going to be a difficult one because the Dutch language is an arse.
Isn't it?
Yep, it is unnecessarily complicated.
Too many syllables.
Complex. Yep, too many syllables. Save some for the rest of us. And it's just not efficient.
It's a lot of like Stugenblagenflagens.
Yeah,
it's a lot of
exactly.
Umstunglungenflagen, Tingen, Stein,
Yeah, it's just not right, is it?
It's not right.
No.
Such an English way of looking at it.
Yeah,
it's not English, it's not right. I'm sure there's method in the madness.
No. There are only two things I hate in this world, Miles. First one is people who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the second one is the Dutch. Do you know what that's from?
No.
It's Austin Powers, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. It's as soon as it's Michael Caine says it. As soon as they see Goldmember,
Yeah.
before he offers them the smoking a pancake,
Yeah.
flapjack and a cigarette,
Oh yeah, he goes through all of them, doesn't he?
cigar and a waffle, pipe and a crepe, blitz and a bong.
Those films, I need to rewatch those films because as a kid they had me creased, but I need to revisit them as an adult and see if they hold up. Yeah. What does he do? He eats skin at one point, doesn't he? It's horrible.
Yeah.
He's got like a little.
Oh! Get the box. Get the box.
Oh, it's so horrible.
This one's your keeper.
Oh, it's so nasty, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that was how I did the research for this episode. I just watched that clip.
Yeah, done.
Done. You know, out of interest, do you know what going Dutch means, by the way? You've heard that phrase before, right? We're going Dutch.
I thought it was like when you half a bill at a restaurant.
That's exactly it.
Is it?
Yeah, so going Dutch is a term that each person participating in a paid activity covers their own expenses, rather than one person paying for the whole thing, basically.
I wonder where the origin of that came from.
I've got the answer for you, mate.
Oh.
So it's actually it's obviously English in origin, and it was due to the rivalry between the English and the Dutch in the 17th century during the Anglo-Dutch Wars.
Right.
It was meant as like a derogatory "go Dutch" type phrase, angry "go Dutch" type thing.
Right. So that's where it started.
So yeah, at least you've learnt one thing today. Eh?
That's it.
Now, when you think of Dutch food, you think of Gouda, Edam, stroopwafels, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Well, at least I do anyway. But if you ask any Dutch national what food is synonymous with Dutch tradition, it is likely the very first thing they will shout out is Stamppot.
So it's right up there with the national cuisine of the Netherlands.
100%, yeah.
Stamppot.
Have you ever eaten it? You ever put Stamppot in your mouth?
No, I haven't. No. I think I've got a friend who is Dutch, and he's ordered. He's taken me to a Dutch pub in London, and they serve Dutch food, and he's ordered like some Dutch dishes before in there that have looked quite strange, and I don't think he's ever ordered Stamppot.
Right. What did you order? Fish and chips?
Yeah. Have you got any chicken nuggets? No, I just didn't eat anything. Just watched him eat. I think I'd already eaten the time we went there. So it wasn't like I was put off by the foreign men.
Dead weird activity.
Yeah. But no, I think it was like some kind of sausage with like a barbecue glaze on it. But yeah, it was quite strange. It was like a spiced sausage with barbecue sauce on it, and frites.
Yeah. But he didn't order Stamppot.
He didn't order Stamppot, no. So I'm still yet to find out what all this fuss is about.
Yeah. How did you hear about it?
I think he told me about it. I think I told him about the podcast, and he was like, "Have you done any Dutch food yet?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, mate, you need to get on the Dutch food. There's going to be loads of history. You know, I mean, so Dutch history.
This is potentially our first listener recommendation.
Yeah. Thank God. We've been waiting so long. Someone who cares. Because Dutch history, whenever we've gone back and talking about the Spanish conquistadors and people exploring the New World and stuff, the Dutch play a big part in that, don't they? They're always cropping up here and there, colonising places and discovering things and sailing the seas. So it's like no wonder that their cuisine sort of goes back as well quite far. So I'm interested to find out about it. Good place to start.
Sure. Yeah, good place to start. Right, enough clogging about. Let's get into it, shall we?
Wait, 1 second. I need to mention clogs. Wooden shoes. Why? What? Why is that ever? That's not comfortable. Surely.
No, I don't think they actually wear them though, do they? Or like they ever wore them as a more than? I think was it not more of like a ceremony celebration? They can't just be cutting about in clogs all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Think about the blisters. I don't know. That's a story for another day, I think.
Blisters, splinters, all sorts.
Splinters. Yeah. Someone's not smoothed off their clogs. It's just crate pallets. cut into shoes. No, I don't know. Clogs are a weird one, man. Don't get them at all.
Not about it. So let's start with what is Stamppot. So to put it as simply as I possibly can, Stamppot is a combination of potatoes that have been mashed with one or several different kinds of vegetables. It's basically super similar to, the Irish colcannon.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like mashed potato with either cabbage or kale stirred through it. But from what I could find during the research, the main difference between the two is that Stamppot, you actually mash everything together rather than mashing the potato first and then just folding in the veggies afterwards. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So it's actually mashed with it, so you're getting sort of little pieces of it here and there sort of thing.
It's just the whole thing is basically like whizzed up.
And is that the same? Is it the same kind of vegetables like kale and cabbage and things like that?
So yeah, typical vegetables in Stamppot include sauerkraut.
Wait, should I be saying Stamppot? You're putting a little shirt on the front of it.
I think that is how.
You're just doing it for flair.
Yeah, I've got the flair trait. That's just what I do.
Like when you talk to people about like croissants, for example, and like an English person would say croissant, but then you always get that one guy. He's like, "Hi, please can I have 2 croissants?" And you're like, "Mate, why? You're not just say croissant? Or, why are you trying so hard?"
Yeah, or the same thing with chorizo.
Chorizo. Yeah, can I have a chicken and chorizo sandwich, please, mate? Thank you.
That's me, though. I do that, to be fair.
Or paella. I mean, I know paella is paella, but,
Paella.
What do we say? Yeah. Can I have a seafood paella, please? So anyway, Stamppot.
Stamppot, yeah. From all the videos that I watched of either people making it or people eating it, from what I gathered, it's Stamppot.
Got you, okay.
Yeah. So, typical vegetables include sauerkraut, kale, endive, which is like a chicory type thing.
All right.
Spinach, turnip ends, carrot, and onion.
Nice.
They're the typical vegetables.
Leeks? Is that coming under? No leeks?
No, not that I could find.
Because leek and potato is kind of like a... When you stir through leeks and potato in mash, that's a winning combination right there. Yeah. Not to the Dutch.
Maybe they just didn't grow them in Dutch land.
Yeah. All right.
Or maybe they did, but they just didn't put them in Stamppot.
Well, that's sounding quite nice so far. I'm liking the sound of this.
I'm going to ruin it for you, though, because it's not only savoury versions that are served up in the Netherlands. No, sir. Sweet tasting Stamppot exists too. Right. Get ready for some fucking absolute butchery of pronunciations. Blauw bliksem, which translates to blue lightning, is a regional variety of Stamppot that is made with pears, and hete bliksem, which translates to hot lightning, is another variety which is made with sweet apples. So it's 2 there, sorry.
Right, okay.
Blauw bliksem, blue lightning made with pears. Hete bliksem, which is hot lightning made with sweet apples.
With potato?
With potato.
Right, okay. Because potato is not often an ingredient that's used in sweet dishes.
Correct. Pineapple is also commonly added to the sauerkraut to deliver a sweet hit too. Now, never tried the shit, but the thought of mashed potato with mashed pineapple makes me gip a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not...
I mean, ain't gonna judge. Might be class, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I'm trying to create some kind of connections between that and the Hawaiian pizza with the sort of stodginess of the pizza bread and the sweetness and crunchiness of the pineapple pieces. But nah, it's not going to work that for me.
No. I mean, it might be, they might be sitting on something here, which is, it's like bow level groundbreaking, where sooner or later it's just going to flood into our culinary palates, and it's just going to be like, wow, why have we never had this before?
Stamppot on every street corner.
Stamppot stands.
Stamppot stands everywhere. You can't sheaf it at Stamppot stands.
Now, the most common savoury Stamppot is served with your classic smoked sausage, kind of like those vacuum-packed Mattisons Ma used to throw in pasta.
Yes. Oh, the Canada special.
The cancer special, yeah. You know the ones we're talking about, listening. You know the ones in little vacuum pack things that look like they could go into space and survive several months.
Oh, yeah.
Before being opened up and eaten by an astronaut.
Yeah, if there's a food that's the first food that's going to be consumed by a human on the surface of Mars, it's a Matheson sausage for sure.
Yeah.
Because it travels very well.
Yeah. But like the gravity on Mars straightens the kink out, so it's like a straight sausage by the end you get there.
Yeah, astronauts are just like, it's easier to slice, it's straight. I mean, they're kind of like reconstituted sausages, aren't they? Like kind of like they're in the family of like bratwurst, bockwurst style, aren't they? They're not like chunky sausages like we have in the UK, are they? It's the kind of bratwurst style, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's smoked, isn't it? Smoked sausage. Yeah. Exactly.
They taste good, though, don't they? The meat content is considerably less than like a organic sausage, but
definitely horse. It's
definitely toenails and eyelids, but it's good, man. I like it. It's really nice.
As well as that smoked sausage, as well as curled up Mattisons, you might also find some Julian bacon, some stewed meat, and some even have cheese mixed through them, gherkins mixed through them, nuts. Sort of chopped up pickled onions served in them.
Mate,
to be honest,
this sounds really nice. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it's kind of, to me, the dish sounds like a bit of a free for all. Like you just shove whatever old shit you've got lying about in it.
Yeah, I mean that probably I mean that's how a lot of dishes that we've covered have kind of come about, isn't it? Just the creative ways of using what you have around you to make a delicious, wholesome, nourishing meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's also dead easy to make. Like you boil the potatoes and vegetables separately until they're tender. Combine them in a large bowl and just mash the absolute living shit out of them until they're super smooth.
And I'm guessing like because it's mashed potato, you can you're adding like fats and tasty fats in there like butter or things like that as well.
The original recipes that I found didn't have any of that. They just had the vegetables. But that's not to say they didn't use that, because they probably did, just to add a bit of flavour.
Yeah.
But to finish it off, just whack your Mattisons on top, lay it gently on top of your mashed mixture, and you got yourself a Stamppot.
Stamppot. And no sauce. There's no. I mean, for us, we typically have sausage and mash, don't we? We smother it in gravy, don't we?
Yeah. But no, not this. I mean, sometimes, like you said, people do add like milk and lard and other shit like that to the mash mixture. Mash mixture for the Stamppot. To make the whole experience a tad more enjoyable, but that wasn't in every recipe that I found.
No, and I think dousing things in copious amounts of gravy is quite a quintessentially British thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think it's seen in many other cultures to the extent that we do it.
No. And if you think about it, it's a proper weird thing to do in it. Like you spend, 2 hours cooking a joint of beef, and then you just slap a load of gravy on it, so you don't even taste the beef.
Well, not just that, but you flavour you roast these with rosemary and sea salt.
Yeah,
you glaze your carrots in honey and star anise. You do the whole shebang, and then like you said, you just throw this blanketed meat juice flavour all over the top of it. But I don't know, like
we need to normalise gravy as a dip, I reckon.
Yes, comes in like a little ramekin to the side of your roast, and it's just things you want a little bit of it on.
That's a business idea there, mate. Well, pots of gravy dip. Right, anyway, so despite being a fairly simple dish, it's pretty crazy that the endurance and popularity of Stamppot, it's pretty crazy. It's a dish thought to be one of the oldest, yet still one of the most popular Dutch dishes, and is still consumed by millions of people every single year. Which is a weird one, because it's just super basic.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like,
Not a bad thing.
I think the climate's similar in the Netherlands to England, isn't it? So, growing potatoes is something that can be done all year round. They have those ingredients on tap all year round, don't they? So it makes sense that it's become such like a popular thing, because it's just they've got access to those ingredients just whenever they need it. Although I'm never a big fan of like sausage and mash in the middle of summer, in the baking heat of summer.
Oh no,
it's not a particularly summery dish, is it really?
No, it's not. No. So let's have a look at how this dish came to be. To do so, we're going to have to strap ourselves into the old time machine and go back to sometime in the 1600s.
Beep, beep, beep. Ding, ding. Welcome.
Bit of a warning here. I've never really studied much of the history of the Netherlands and the Dutch. I am a virgin to most of the intricacies that make up the Dutch history, so you'll need to bear with me and bear with us, because I know for a fact that Miles has never touched Dutch history before.
What you talking about? I know all about it.
I'm a quarter Dutch.
I'm a quarter Dutch.
Basically, bear with us as we navigate through and be gentle. So it turns out, perfect for this fucking episode, that a lot of fucking shit happened in the Netherlands in the 1600s.
Right.
Especially towards the end of the century. So if we start at the beginning, so at the beginning of the 1600s, the Netherlands was a part of the Spanish Empire. Right. Did you know that?
Didn't, no. So Spain occupied the Netherlands.
Yeah. Well, they never really invaded the Netherlands. There was no sort of exciting moment of conquest. No like final battle.
Battle. No final battle.
You have been defeated, you Dutch swine. Enjoy. Patatas bravas. There was no moment like that. It was more through royal marriage, political arrangements, and basically just a sheer lack of nationhood in the 15th and 16th centuries. And what we know today as the Netherlands just basically came under Spanish control of the Spanish Empire, and that's how they gained control of it. It was mainly through those sorts of means. Yeah. Now, this was fine for a while, but soon enough, discontentment began to grow for a multitude of reasons, really. One of those reasons was religion. Now, in 1555, Philip II of Spain, who I believe we've looked at before in one episode, can't remember which. Anyway, Philip II of Spain took over from his father as sovereign of the Habsburg Netherlands, and he was not as liberal about religion as his father, and immediately began to prosecute Protestants for heresy.
Right, we've been here before.
Yeah, exactly. Now, naturally enough, this was not particularly well received by the duchies or by the Dutch people, and noblemen from the Netherlands began putting together a petition for the prosecutions to stop, but this was denied time and time again by Philip, who just wanted to crush non-Christians, basically.
Why do they give a shit?
Because
what religion people practice, how is that going to affect your dynasty, your royal house, your political power? Well, I guess politics and religion were so more entwined in that time, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also a completely different frame of mind. Like religion in this day and age, well, especially to you or I, it's not like we're not performing actions on a daily basis and thinking the consequences of them based on what God's going to think of them.
Yeah, on behalf of the religion that we follow, sort of thing.
Exactly. Whereas proper religious focused leaders will be doing every single action, every single decision that they make. They will be thinking about how God is going to judge that decision, and if the judgment is going to be good enough for them to get into the afterlife and into heaven.
Yeah, because I guess it takes us back to like bloody, what's it called? The divine right of kings, like Henry VIII. And it's like he's telling everyone that he's got the divine right of kings. It's like he's been told by God that he has the divine right to rule. So then, he's then thinking anyone that doesn't follow Protestantism, this religion of mine, which says that I can be king from God, if anyone doesn't follow it, then that's an attack on his authority as king, isn't it? So you can see there the kind of connection between religion and his sense of power, sort of thing. So maybe like a similar thing's going on. Because it's the other way around, isn't it, with this Prince Philip of Spain? He's Catholic and he's killing Protestants. Is that right?
That's what he's persecuting Protestants. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Got you.
So I think he'll be doing. He's obviously in bed with the Pope as well, and he'll be reliant
probably literally
he'll be reliant on financial support as well from the Pope, I believe, because I think in 1555 Philip is also fighting wars.
So Philip's like, right, I'm going to kill loads of Protestants in hopes that the Pope might give me a bunch of cash to help me fight these wars and get more power.
For what? Yeah, just to keep hold of the Pope's support and keep hold of the money. I mean, that's just one of the reasons. Obviously, the other reason is that, he wants to please God and all this sort of shit. But so he's persecuting Protestants, and following some sort of minor rebellions, Philip instituted the Council of Troubles, which arrested 9,000 people and executed 1,000 people. Wow. Within those people, high-ranking members of Dutch society, normal people, everyday people, loads of people.
And these are all because they're Protestants?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Some high-ranking members managed to flee, like William of Orange, who we'll come back to in a second. They fled abroad to avoid prosecution. Following on I'm just like flying through with these things now because it's obviously a massive topic in itself, but following on, some minor rebellions ensued, which were easily defeated by Philip's troops. However, he soon doomed himself. He fucked himself right in the arsehole.
Oh, God.
How do you think he did it? How do you think he fucked himself? Think something that everyone pays.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Fucked you with taxes, did he?
He did. He imposed much higher taxes on the Netherlands to fund his expensive war with the Ottoman Empire. God. And what's one thing you don't fuck with? You don't fuck with taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah, you don't. Now, this disenchanted those who had previously been loyal to Philip and his Habsburg Empire, and was ultimately the thing that led to war. Right. And that war would lead us to a dish that was made up of mashed potatoes and vegetables, funnily enough. Well, fun little fact about Philip II. Did you know that the Philippines were named in his honour?
No way.
Yeah, they were named in his honour by Roy Lopez de Villalobos, who was a Spanish explorer who discovered them.
And they named it the Philippines.
Yeah,
that is mad.
Cool, isn't it?
What the hell? I never knew that.
Yeah, this war that had just started between the Netherlands and Spain was not just your standard war. It has its own name. It was called the 80 Years' War. Do you know why it was called the 80 Years' War?
Because it lasted for 80 years.
Hey, gold star. But the 80 Years' War didn't just include the Netherlands. It actually included 17 provinces, which today are made up of Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, some sort of regions of France. England even got involved on the side of the Dutch, all against King Philip of Spain, King Philip II of Spain.
Bloody hell.
So this is like a big fucking war, like almost lasted for 100 years. Yeah, man, this is like the war of Europe. Because it's such a big war and there's so many different people involved, I want to reel off some of the dope as fuck names that are involved with this war.
All right.
Some cool dudes. We had William the Silent, or William the Orange.
He's always there in the corner, silently eating oranges.
That's exactly how he got the name, yeah.
Oh, that's William.
William the Silent Orange.
William the Silent Orange.
So William the Silent was the main leader of the Dutch revolt against the Spanish Habsburg.
Right.
It's not actually known how he got his name. Like, there's no definitive answer. One story, though, says that when the kings of France and Spain proposed William to kill all Protestants in his area, William just didn't reply.
He ghosted him.
Yeah, badass.
Bad boy.
Hence, William the Silent just didn't reply.
Yeah, what did you expect? He's William the Silent, dumbass. You just get, when he does reply, it's just an envelope with a wax seal, and you crack it open with a knife and open it, and it's just a segment of orange inside it.
William.
William the Orange.
Now, he's also quoted as coming out with some absolute bangers too.
Right.
If you do the honours, Miles.
My legal wife is to me dead, the only ecclesiastical authority I recognise pronounces me free. The attacks and threats of men do not disturb me. I am acting according to a clear conscience. I am doing hurt to no man. For my conduct, I will answer to my maker.
The word you're looking for there is ecclesiastical.
What did I say?
I don't even know. I can't even think of what you said. Yeah, something like that. Ecclesiastical.
So what? How do you say that?
Ecclesiastical.
Ecclesiastical authority.
Yeah.
So what does ecclesiastical mean?
Couldn't tell you.
Fuck knows.
Just how to say it.
Sounds good.
It relating to the Christian church.
Right.
So a Christian authority, basically. That last sentence, though, for my conduct, I will answer to my maker. Don't know, it's like a movie line.
It is. It's like John Wick. So that's like, I won't answer to anybody. I will answer to God only.
Cool dude, William. One of the next guys that we've got is Maurice, Prince of Orange, another Dutch revolt leader. He was actually the second son of William the Silent, a child of William's disastrous marriage to the schizophrenic Anna of Saxony.
Jesus, we've all been there.
Been there. Another dude was Martin Hopzoen Tromp.
Right.
Proper handful of a name.
Yeah.
This dude was a Dutch army general and admiral in the Navy. Oh. So literally land or sea, name a place and Martin will be there.
Air.
Fucking hell. Well, yeah, I said land or sea.
I said air.
How's he going to get in the air?
Exactly.
1600s.
Exactly. He's not the master of everything, is he?
All right, yeah, fair enough. Give you that one. On the side of the Spanish, we had Ambrosio Spinola, first Marquess of Los Balbeses.
What's his name?
Ambrosio Custard.
King of Custard, that's what I was going to say.
I knew where you were going.
William of Orange, this guy of Custard. What are they like? A little team of puddings.
The team of puddings. Literally the perfect battle for What the Food podcast.
Yeah, innit?
Ambrosio, though, was an Italian-born Spanish general who was actually considered to be one of the greatest military commanders of his time and in the history of the Spanish army.
Whoa, okay. That's a big deal.
Yeah, man, this guy was very well regarded. And I was reading a book about, like, great military leaders, and this guy had his own chapter.
Whoa.
Anyway, so the war raged from around 1568 all the way up until 1648, with over 100,000 Dutch and Dutch allies dying and an unknown amount of Spanish dying during the fighting. I'm not really sure why we don't know how many Spanish died. Maybe just because they just didn't record it, or...
Too many.
We've lost, too many. It's just too many to count. There's just, I couldn't find any references to how many Spanish died. But over the course of the war, both sides gained and lost ground, but it was ultimately the Dutch that came out on top, thanks to a little help from their French allies.
Ooh, a Français.
Oh, Français. So, yeah, it's hella more complicated than that. Obviously, I've just given you a
crash course.
A GCSE bite size crash course. Yeah.
Yours was better, though.
Good way of putting it. Well, people might not know what GCSE bite size is, so you're covering all angles there with that one. Yeah, so like I said, I'm just giving you a little chunk of it, really. Yeah. Because we are meant to be talking about Stamppot. But I just like to give you a bit of a background.
Back down.
Bit of a back down.
A bit of a back rub. A little bit of a rub down. A little back rub down.
So an event that I did want to mention that I thought was super cool before we moved on and moved back to what we're actually meant to be talking about today was the taking of the city of Breda by the Dutch from the Spanish.
Okay.
Now,
where the hell's that?
So Breda is in the Netherlands somewhere. Oh, I know that it's in the Netherlands, and it is northwest of The Hague. Right. I think.
Breda.
Breda. It's not far from northeast from The Hague.
Right.
No. South, east
north
of The Hague.
West?
South of Rotterdam.
We don't know.
We're not in Europe anymore. It doesn't even matter. We don't even need to know.
Oh, God.
Anyway, the taking of the city is like a modern day version of the Trojan horse.
Right, okay.
So in 1590, the Spanish in Breda needed fuel desperately, and a peat dealer obliged, except that the ship that dropped anchor in port also carried 75 Dutch soldiers within it.
Secret mission.
Yeah, exactly. So they managed to get into the city. They escaped detection, even when one of them was seized by an uncontrollable cough. To the point where he asked his companions to kill him as to not give away their hiding spot.
Kill me.
But his comrades refused. They said no. Yeah. No, they didn't do it. Presumably they gave him like a big old thump on the back or something like that.
Heimlich.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But the ruse was a resounding success, and Breda was taken.
Right, from the inside out.
To get in and... Yeah, exactly. Crazy Dutch bastards, eh?
Mm.
So the war ultimately led to the separation of the northern and southern Netherlands and to the formation of the United Provinces of the Netherlands, i.e. the Dutch Republic. And Spain officially recognised Dutch independence on May 15th, 1648 at the Treaty of Munster, and thus the 80-year war was over. Hey, but what the fuck does this have to do with Stamppot? I hear you cry. Well, it turns out everything. It has everything to do with Stamppot, Miles.
Everything.
So, during the 80 Years' War, the Spanish, under Francisco de Valdez, tried to capture the Dutch city of Leiden in 1573. Right. The inhabitants stubbornly defended their city and ended up withstanding a 1-year siege from the Spanish. So they managed to last a whole year defending.
A year?
A whole year. Yeah,
I didn't know sieges went on that long. How tiring.
Yeah, sieges in medieval times, obviously this is past medieval times, but in medieval times would go on for years. Yeah, years.
So they're just survive? Because I take it you've got an army sat outside of the compound or castle or what have you, city, and then they're just kind of like surviving on the food and resources they've got within
the city walls,
and just trying to outlast each other.
Exactly, yeah. They'll just sit it out and wait for if the attacker's got a decent enough supply lines, they can obviously just keep getting new supplies every day, so they'll never run out. But obviously, in the event of a siege, it's normally the attacker is normally on foreign land, so they might not have the best supply lines. So
and they're open to sort of allies and flanks and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
A year though, wow. Imagine you'd be quite scared living in that city for a year, knowing that there's an army ready to slaughter you right outside the walls.
Yeah, definitely.
Horrendous.
Definitely. And obviously, running out of food is not just the main concern as well. It's like disease, because obviously everyone's packed in together, and there's not many ways you can get rid of waste. So that's going to be a big problem.
God. So much Stamppot in the streets.
So much Stamppot in the streets. The city of Leiden is about 13 miles from The Hague. So this is where I got mixed up. I got mixed up between Breda and Leiden. So Leiden is about 13 miles from The Hague and has actually been a university city since 1575. Wow, cool. It's one of Europe's most prominent scientific centres. It's been one of Europe's most prominent scientific areas for more than 4 centuries.
Wow.
Anyway, enough fun facts. Back to the siege. So there were around 15,000 Spanish attackers and around 11,000 Dutch rebels, English soldiers and French supporting soldiers as well.
Right.
And luckily for the defenders, the area of Leiden is actually perfect for defending a siege. Not only was there defensive works, like castle walls and stuff like that, but there was also an entire area that was surrounded by low-lying bogland.
Right, okay.
That could easily be flooded by opening up the dikes and basically letting the sea in. Right,
okay. So they could flush them out, basically.
Exactly, yeah. Because you know how most of the Netherlands is fucking nearly underwater?
Yeah.
All times of the year.
Yeah.
They've basically built systems so that they drain it and flood it as and when they need to water crops and whatever. So what the Dutch defenders did is they basically flooded the land that the Spanish were conducting their siege from. And basically forced them to vacate in a hurry, run away.
Just turned it into like a big bog, like a swamp almost.
Yeah,
it's quite clever.
They charged out after him and chased him down. So it's actually a mad little battle if you think about it, because it's like rising sea levels, like an ever-changing battlefield. And there was actually a group called the cuisine, or Good for Nothings, which were basically like a band of powerful military units that made that were really good at fucking sea combat.
Right.
So they were getting in on it as well. It's like a nutty battle. It's literally like Total War.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So according to legend, on October 3rd, 1574, when the resistance finally succeeded in driving the Spanish away and liberating the city, it is reported that the Spanish soldiers that were fleeing left cooked bits of unfamiliar stews, carrots, meat, onions, potatoes, all in like their pots and in the camps that they fled, which basically the starved inhabitants of the Leiden city that had been kept in the city for a year ate up hella quickly as it came out.
Right, yeah, just grabbed it and used it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So what was left over from the Spanish and the rest of the people?
Yeah, so obviously they've been, it's pretty weird to think like, why would people just suddenly rush out after defeating their enemy and just scran all the shit they left behind?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, like, these guys have been the victims. Yeah, exactly. They've been the victims of the siege for like at least a year. Yeah. Food supply would have been dwindling consistently. Yeah. I imagine they weren't eating fresh vegetables. They were probably just eating grain as well. So like the mere sight of these cooking pots with various kinds of fresh vegetables, meats, which would have fucking blown their minds. They just would have gone straight for it.
Yeah.
You know? So the legend goes that not knowing what to call the unfamiliar dish they were gorging themselves on, they named it Hutspot. And it has remained a symbol of their victory till this day.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the word Hutspot is derived from the Dutch words hutsen, meaning to mix, and pot, meaning, well, pot. So Hutspot roughly translates to mixing pot, which is what it all is. It's just a mix
pot
of shit.
I mean,
altogether.
Does our word hodgepodge come anywhere into this? Because I'm getting hodgepodge vibes from this, and we kind of use that in the sense of like a little bit of everything, don't we? A hodgepodge of things.
Exactly. That is literally the next thing I was going to say.
Hey,
it's related to hodgepodge.
Just good looking, man.
It's exactly that. It's related to a similar word.
Hodgepodge.
So, I mean, you could kind of argue that hutspot is kind of Spanish in origin, really.
Yeah, because Spanish ingredients and...
Yeah, well, yeah, it was the shit that the Spanish were cooking before they could leave, based on this legend. But I couldn't find any Spanish claim to the dish whatsoever. They've got their own shit going on, haven't they?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's where you could argue that the spiced sausage element, kind of Spanish have been known to be spicing meats like that in that way for a long time, haven't they? So it's quite a strong argument with the spiced sausage element of Stamppot.
So from what I can actually see, Stamppot is just the potatoes and veg.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not the sausage. The sausage is just commonly served with it.
Right, got you. So that doesn't actually make up the dish.
No, exactly.
Right,
that's just what's served with it. So yeah, at the moment we've got Hutspot and Stamppot, and basically Hutspot is the same as Stamppot, except that it has a strict list of ingredients. Hutspot is made using mashed potatoes, carrots, and onions. Most of the recipes, 90% of the recipes that I found for Hutspot is just those three ingredients mixed together. Various spices, lard, whatever you want to put in it, but those key vegetables. There's much less throwing shit in and seeing what works with Hutspot.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like Hutspot is like the tried and tested dish that you know will work every time, whereas Stamppot is the dish where you can get a bit creative and experiment with your veggies and your flavourings, and
like you said before, use what you've got around you to, if you've got a bit of excess this or excess that.
So there's actually loads of Dutch dishes that are very similar. That you could probably classify as Stamppot or Hutspot, so it's just bare confusing.
Oh god.
I'm gonna get you to read off 4 of them and the ingredients in which, and you can sort of see where my confusion arose from.
Right. Okay, so the first one is borenkool, which is potatoes and kale with sausage. Hete bilksam, potatoes and apples with salt pork. Okay. Zukool Stamppot, potatoes, sauerkraut with smoked sausage or bacon. Andifrias Stamppot. Andifschweiß Stamppot.
No, I don't.
Potatoes and endive with bacon. So yeah, it's the same ingredients coming up time and time again, just kind of like very, very minor changes to each one. One's got apples and one's with salt pork instead of sausage. One's with smoked sausage or bacon, and the sauerkraut's there in place of the apples or the kale. And the other one is potatoes and endive, and that's with bacon. So it's all following the same process though, isn't it? You're mashing potatoes, you're mixing through a crunchy texture-based vegetable to give the potatoes some kind of texture and green element, and then you're adding like a salty, rich umami meat element.
Now, I don't know if it's like just a Dutch language and they have like to me it seems like they've got the catch-all name, which is Stamppot, and then they've got individual names for the variations of Stamppot.
Yeah, I mean, the last one basically they're basically saying it's the endive Stamppot. Yeah. And then they're saying the Zukool Stamppot, that must be Zukool.
But then what about the first one?
Well, the cool...
Why has that not got Stamppot in it?
Yeah, I know. What's Bilksam? Fuck's sake, I don't know. I don't know. What is this? I don't know. But yeah.
What we know is there's loads of different types of Stamppot and Hutspot and borenkool and hete bilksam and there's just loads of shit that's just mashed with potatoes.
Yeah.
But there is some argument that the original versions of Hutspot and Stamppot didn't actually include potato.
That was the one constant. That was the one thing
exactly
that I can guarantee that I kind of had a firm grip on. And now you're taking it away from me?
Twisting it. twisting it. Here we go. So instead, there is some thought, or some historians believe that they use something like a sweet. It's something that the Dutch call a sweet potato, or a pastinaak, which is basically a parsnip. So mashed parsnip instead of mashed potato.
Okay, that ain't Stamppot to me.
I mean, it might be true, but we do know that the first European record of the potato, or first European sale of a potato, is recorded around 1537, and it would have spread quite slowly throughout Europe. So, could be. So it is possible that the Spanish were actually cooking potato when they were forced to flee in 1574, but we never really know, I'm afraid. Never really know. Yeah, so the anniversary of the lifting of the siege at Leiden is known as Leiden's Onzet.
Okay.
Probably fucked it again, but whatever.
Too far down the hole.
I'm just not going to apologise anymore. It's your fault your language is nutty.
It's your fault your language is hard to pronounce. Sort it out.
I'm joking. Shout out to that one Dutch guy that listens.
It's my mate Mark.
It's celebrated. Yeah. Force him to listen.
Yeah. Have you listened yet?
I did this episode just for you.
Yeah.
We got the pronunciations just right.
Just right. Yeah.
So the anniversary. It's celebrated on October 3rd every year in Leiden, and by Dutch expats all over the world. And here is a quick rundown from DutchReview.com on how to party like a Leidener on October 3rd.
First thing you do in the morning of October the 3rd is to pick up your herring and white bread at the Waag. Then you go back to bed because you have a hangover from the night before. That's because the real party will take place in the night from the 2nd to the 3rd of October. On October the 2nd, you are going to eat hutspot in the evening before you go into the city and get drunk. Right, okay.
You basically eat a shit ton of hutspot and get pissed, really.
It's weird that they're saying October the 3rd is the day of the festival, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but they're saying here on October the 3rd is the day that you pick up your white bread and go back to bed because you're hungover from the night before. Yeah. So, like, the day of the actual celebration, they're just like, you're going to be hungover. It's the day before.
Just regardless.
Yeah. So, that's funny. But yeah, you're gonna eat hutspot in the evening before you go into the city and get drunk. That sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah.
Eating mashed
I imagine
potato.
it's a very good meal. Very good pre-drink meal.
Yes.
Lines the stomach.
And these Dutch beers, they're strong, man. Mark takes me to this Dutch pub, and the beers are strong. They're like drinking glasses of wine. Some of them, so they can be up in like the 10%, 11% region. Some of these.
Yeah.
So, a stodgy hutspot or Stamppot meal before you fucking set, like you said, good way to line the stomach. Mashed potato, some kale, and a good sausage. Yeah,
definitely. So nearly 4 centuries later, however, the Dutch suffered under another occupation. This time by Nazi Germany.
They just can't catch a break.
Just can't catch a break, mate. No, you're exactly right. It played a vital role in the Dutch's resistance against the Nazi regime.
Into everything.
Yeah. Hutspot came to represent freedom from oppression in part because of its history, obviously the history of the lifting of the siege, and also for its orange tint thanks to the carrots. And obviously, what colour is the Dutch national colour?
Orange.
And thirdly, because all of the ingredients for hutspot could be grown underground, hidden from view, which is where the Dutch resistance were.
The symbolism there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all coming full circle.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the history in the hutspot. The legend of hutspot derives from the lifting of the siege from a previous oppressor. Yep. You've got the national colour of the Dutch flowing through the dish, and you've also got the fact that all the ingredients could be grown underground, hidden from view, so you can eat whilst staying out of the Nazi sights. Yeah. Now, all of this meant that the resistance fighters could sustain themselves whilst continuing to fight the good fight against the occupiers.
Yeah. Stuck it to the man.
Yeah. Now, that's all I have for Stamppot at the moment. I don't know why I said at the moment, not like I'm going to fucking come back and...
off you go for 10 minutes, come back.
Yeah. Stamppot, revisited. But,
Stamppot, where are they now?
So, yeah, that's all I have for Stamppot. But before we go, I thought I'd like to include a little section on Dutch sayings involving food. So with this being our first foray into the Dutch cuisine, I have obviously found a plethora of new history, information, facts, all sorts of shit like that. And one thing that I found was that the Dutch have several excellent sayings involving food.
Love it.
Some make sense, some are odd. So let's dive into a couple and see if you can guess what their meaning is, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
Milo, if you'd care to do the honours, read out the first one for us, please.
To fall with your nose in the butter. What the fuck? To fall with your nose in the butter. To fall with your nose in the butter.
So I want you to guess the meaning and guess the origins.
To fall with your nose in the butter. Is that because, is that something like you've been misled? Like you've gone down the wrong path because your nose is too far in the butter? Something like that, maybe?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, what does to fall with your nose in the butter mean then?
To fall with your nose in the butter means to be very lucky unexpectedly, or to arrive at just the right time. So, for example...
So maybe if you fall and you've got your nose in butter, the butter is going to soften the blow. It's it's to protect you.
Yeah, maybe. Or it's you want the nose in the butter.
Right.
So an example would be that you arrive at a party just as the birthday cake is being cut. The origins of it is so apparently it's been used in the Dutch language since the 17th century. And its origins are thought to have come from the annual fasting period following where people weren't allowed to eat certain foods, including dairy products. But if you were rich and willing to pay, you were exempted from this fasting period. Those lucky people were said to have fallen with their nose in the butter.
Right, got you. Okay, so that's that one. The next one is to know what meat you have in the barrel. To know what meat you have in the barrel. Is that to know the secret motives of someone? To know,
Close.
To understand what's really at work here, kind of thing?
No, you're pretty much spot on. It's to know what type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
What their traits and skills are. The oldest reference I could find to this dates back to the 17th century. Obviously, people didn't have refrigerators, so they would keep their meat. They would salt their meat and keep it in big barrels. Right. And customers, either coming into a meat cellar or whatever, wouldn't like to know what type of meat was in the barrel and what the quality of it was, what they were dealing with, basically, before they bought it.
Right. I can imagine these barrels not smelling great.
No.
a hodgepodge of different meat in a barrel.
Yeah, and that shit ain't going to be red anymore. It's going to be brown.
Brown, yeah.
Browny meat. It's got too much oxygen on it.
Oh, God. Right, next one. That's a little egg. That's a little egg. Cute. That's cute. She's cute. No. It's cute. Do you say it to a little baby? You got that's a little egg.
Oh, ain't you a little egg?
Yeah. Oh, you're a little egg. No.
No. It means that's very easy, or easy peasy, basically.
That's easy. Right, okay.
Oh man, come on, that's a little egg.
But what's easy about that? What are you doing with it? Eating it? Is it easier to eat because it's a little egg?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think there's quite a few sayings in Dutch where the word egg is used to denote that something's very easy or very cheap.
Right, so why are they judging each other on their ability to be able to eat eggs whole? Why is this a nationwide system of gauges of it? Right, okay.
It could be that obviously soft-boiled eggs are easy to eat. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a reach, but...
Yeah.
Right, last one. Finally.
To save a little apple for the thirst. To save a little apple for the thirst.
Think about this one.
Okay, so maybe I think it's a backup thing. You can eat an apple if you're hungry, but if you save a little bit of it when you're thirsty, you can squeeze it and drink it.
So you think the meaning behind that is literal? You think that it's...
No, it's more maybe it's a metaphor for things have two uses. Don't always use it for its first use.
No, it means to put aside money for bad times. So you were kind of close. I think it dates back to the 18th century. I couldn't find too much on that, to be honest. But obviously people would save apples because they only grew at certain times of the year, so they'd save them, preserving them or saving them somewhere. So there you go. That was the Dutch saying game. Thanks for playing. You got 1 out of 4 right, so that's good.
Jeez. I don't even think I got that one right.
You kind of did. You kind of did.
So that's Stamppot.
Yep. that's Stamppot. So yes, I mean Stamppot, favourite winter comfort food in Holland. You know, it's like a hearty shepherd's pie to the English, or a bucket of fried chicken to the Americans. You know, just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh.
And, you know, whilst the origins of the Dutch Stamppot may not be completely clear, you know, we've got that great legend of the Siege of Leyden, but, you know, there's some holes. But anyway, there's one thing that everyone can agree on is that this much-loved dish in the Netherlands, and Hutspot as well, is a symbol of Dutch freedom and victory in the Siege of Leyden.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Stamppot. So yeah, we've had sieges, we've had Nazi occupation, we've had sauerkraut
with pineapple, little eggs.
We've had little eggs. We've had some strange Dutch food sayings.
Maurice.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. I mean, how did you find doing the research for that? Did that take you to some places you didn't expect?
Yeah, it was a little difficult, this one. I don't know if it was just because much of Dutch history hasn't been translated properly, or there just isn't much history around Stamppot as a whole, maybe.
Yeah.
But I had to dig very deep to find certain elements. So forgive me if you're Dutch and you were there when Stamppot was
You've been ripping
invented.
your hair out.
Yeah.
Listening to all of this.
Yeah.
These uncultured English swines.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think you've done a good job. I think you've done a very good job. That was really interesting.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for listening. You did a good job listening. You always do a good job listening, to be fair.
I do try, you know, saying certain things and listening and I use both ears at the same time.
Both at the same time?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you've mastered that.
Right, well, there you go, Stamppot. Before we waffle on too much. Check out our website, whatsthefoodpodcast.com. It's been designed by Andy. He's done a fucking brilliant job.
Thank you very much.
It's really cool. You've got links to all the different places that the podcast is on there, and some information about me and Andy, and all sorts of bits and bobs on there. So go check that out. Let us know what you think. Again, send us an email at whatthefoodpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show.
There's also a little contact form on the website if you somehow don't have an email account.
yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't, but anyway.
You never know.
We've thought about you, niche people. But yeah, with the email address as well, you can send us a recommendation of a dish that you want us to cover, or a suggestion. We'll take that on board. Yeah. Might be doing a dish that you recommend, and we'll give you a little shout out and all that jazz.
The next episode is going to be a lot more jam-packed, I would say, because it's much more world-renowned food.
A lot more to sort of sink our teeth into.
Exactly, yeah. And I know a bit of the history of it already without even doing any of the research. And I know it's got quite an interesting backdrop. So get ready for that.
2 weeks today, and that'll be dropping.
Yep.
And then the last thing I wanted to say, just before we go on too much, is we are on Instagram. So check us out on Instagram, What the Food Podcast. We're uploading some funny content on there, and some updates and things. So yeah, follow us on there, and that's it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode.
Speak to you soon, boys and girls.
You nearly said boys just then.
Boys. I did. Yeah.
See you next time, boys.
Boys.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.